Hello, Daz Studio enthusiasts. This is Not From This World, and I want to welcome you back to my tutorial series. Now, today I thought I would talk a little bit about surfaces and reflectivity, because there is some really cool things that you can do in your scene to create mirrors or to just create some reflection in the scene if you don't have any. So I want to show you a couple of things that are very simple, and then hopefully you can take these simple suggestions and add them into a more complex scene so that you can get a more dynamic image. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take Milica and I want to just show you how you can make a reflective surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by just creating a primitive, and it doesn't really matter what primitive that you create, it just depends on what you want to do. I am going to create a cube, and I just have it set up really simple. So I'm going to create this cube, and then I'm going to raise it up, and I'm going to make kind of a floor that Milica is standing on, and then we're going to make this reflective. Okay, so this cube is now a floor, and if I go into Iray, you're going to see that the cube is defaulted to white. What's kind of cool is if you're new to Daz Studio, just go down from parameters to surfaces, and if you select your cube and then just select base, you can change the color of your cube to any color you want. So I could make the cube purple if I wanted to. Now notice there is some reflection, which is nice. If I'm choosing a different color, I might get some reflection because of the lighting. So it kind of looks like it's glowing already, but I want to show you something that's really cool. If I turn this back to white, and then I come up here to my Daz Studio formats, drop down to my Daz Studio library, I can go down to shader presets, and when you buy Daz Studio, you're going to find that you've got this Iray, and if you select Iray, you're going to have Iray Uber. Now, Iray Uber is going to have a bunch of different shaders that just come with Daz Studio. In a lot of my other videos, I have shown you the emissive, which actually makes your object glow. And so I've shown you that. But what I want to do is I want to create this box and make it into a mirror. So if I scroll down, the best one to create a mirror is going to be aluminum polished. So if I have in my surface tab the cube base selected, I'm just going to click on metal aluminum, and you can see we get a perfect mirror in our scene. And so this is super cool and very handy if you want to make your own mirror in a scene. So you can see it's just reflecting, the floor is completely reflective. Just to show you some of the other features of Daz Uber, let's just select our cube. Let's copy it. And then I'm going to take this second cube and we're just going to raise it up. And I'm just going to move it behind Milica. Now we have another perfect mirror behind Milica. But I want to use this cube as an example of some of what we can do with these other Daz Uber shaders. So if I have this cube number 2 selected and I go back to my surface tab, if I hit base, now I can kind of play around. I can make this, let's say, gold. So if I select it gold, you can see that it changes that second cube to a gold color, and now the reflection is different. If I go to, let's say, aluminum brushed, I'm going to get rid of most of the reflection. You can still see Milica a little bit in that wall, but not to any detail. So this is just really cool to kind of play around with it. Here is aluminum polished and coated. So this is like really cool for sci-fi scenes, like maybe Milica's looking through a mirror. So you just need to kind of play around with this. I've noticed that a lot of these are going to give us kind of a blurry image as a reflection. Here's plastic glossy. Here is wax. So you can see we can just change the shaders of this object to whatever we want. However, if you want to make a mirror, the best one is aluminum polished. And that's going to give you your reflective mirror. Now, what's really cool is essentially everything in the scene can be turned into a mirror. Or if not a mirror, we can change the textures using this Daz Uber. So for example, let's look at Milica's cute little bathing suit. If I select that and go to surfaces, I can select it and we can change it. Like I can make it this jade color. So you can see that I can change pretty much any surface. I can also mess around with this and change this base color as well. So if I change the base color, it's going to change the textures that I am seeing on that particular object. So if I turn this to white and then choose aluminum polished, I might actually get a reflective surface on that bikini top. And you can see that's exactly what's happening. This is made of 2 parts. And so if I select both parts, and now Milica has a reflective bikini top. So it's kind of cool how you can mess with this sort of thing. And I just wanted to show you this really quick, especially for those of you that are new, that going to your Daz library, scroll down to where you see shade presets, find Iray, and then you'll have Iray Uber. And then you can get these simple shaders that you can play with. So let's just try one last thing just for fun. I added a car into the scene, and let's see how we can use our shaders to change the color of the car. So if I select the main body of the car, go down to the surfaces, and then there's a whole bunch of different parts of the car. So this particular car has a car paint main, it says. So if I select that in my surface tab, it's already defaulted to the white base color. So then I should be able to just change it to like this red cranberry. And you can see, boom, I can change the color of the car. Such a cool feature where you're not actually changing the actual surface of the prop, but you are just changing this shader. And so I think this is super cool, and I try and take advantage of it anytime I can. But if you want to make a mirror, select this aluminum polished, and we can make anything a mirror. So I just made that car kind of into a mirror. So that's about going to wrap this video up, but I want to mention a couple of things before we conclude. One of those is that these reflectivity shaders will only show up in Daz Iray. So if I go back to like texture shaded, you won't see anything. You have to be in Iray, and you have to, of course, render in Iray to see your reflectivity. Also, be prepared to have longer renders with reflectivity because all of these mirrors are going to require more Daz processing as it renders. And so it's going to slow your renders down a little bit. But I think it's worth it because of all of the really cool additions you can create in your scene. All right, well, I hope this was helpful to you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give me a few comments, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it. Help support my channel. I'm trying to get it to grow. I really appreciate all of you. And until next time, happy rendering.